Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the usual blasphemy that we deal with as Toronto Raptors fans. For people that don't know, yesterday the NBA announced big games, big days in the NBA schedule coming up this season, and with that included the lineup for Christmas Day. And once again, the Toronto Raptors didn't make the cut. They didn't get their Christmas Day game. Now, I'm personally, I don't know what the NBA is doing here. They've made excuses in the past, and we'll get into that as the pod progresses. But here's the lineup. Here's the lineup for this Christmas Day game. The only game I'm excited about is the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Golden State Warriors. But we knew that one was going to happen as soon as LeBron signed with the Lakers. But the other games are Milwaukee at New York. That's a rough one. But obviously it's New York, whatever. OKC at the Houston Rockets. I feel like that game is played every season, but whatever. I don't have the list in front of me. It's just a feeling that I have. Then it's the Sixers at the Boston Celtics, and then Portland at the Utah Jazz. Personally, I have no idea what the NBA is doing here. That lineup just personally is, as an NBA fan, not just a Raptors fan, isn't exciting. But the Christmas Day should be all about putting the league's best foot forward. Obviously you got to have brands like the Knicks and the Lakers when they're bad and show off some young guys, whatever. I understand that. But you should be putting out the best brand of basketball because everyone's binge watching. The families are together. You can watch game after game after game. It's an NBA fan's paradise. You can just totally build the brand of NBA on Christmas Day. It's such a good opportunity. And personally, I think the NBA just blew it, especially missing out on the Toronto Raptors. And I said last year we made the argument, right? The Toronto Raptors have deserved to play on this day for the past 4 or 5 seasons now. We've been a top 3 seed ever since we've had that miraculous run with DeMar and Lowry. We've had 2 marketable stars with obviously DeMar and Lowry, a core group of young guys that's exciting to watch, played an exciting brand of basketball, all that cool stuff. We're definitely more accomplished than at least probably 80% of the teams that have made the cut this year and in past years. But the league always comes out with the argument, TSN has a monopoly on Raptors games, and we don't like to put the Raptors on national media as they don't get the same amount of revenue that they would if it was an all-American game, and I totally get that. But this year, I've always looked at that excuse as a bit shaky because Christmas Day is about promoting the game. You want to see the best players go at it, the best teams. And the Raptors are an exciting team, so I don't understand why the league doesn't do that. But this year, I really don't get it. I really don't get it. This whole summer, the talk of the NBA has been Kawhi Leonard, right, and where he's going to go, and the Raptors trading DeMar DeRozan, creating, they're trading their star, shaking up the NBA, having everyone go at them. Right, all of the storylines this past month have been on the Toronto Raptors. That this is where the league, we never have the media talking about us, right? So not only do we have the quality and the deserving team to play on such a big stage, but we have the attention. We have all the narratives. People want to see Kawhi Leonard, right? And now, obviously, not everyone's going to watch the Toronto Raptors every game, just like a Raptors fan wouldn't watch every Utah Jazz game. They want to see Donovan Mitchell. Right? But Kawhi Leonard is a household name. We have a legitimate star, and people want to know what this guy is doing. So I don't understand why the league doesn't put a team with such an exciting narrative, a team with a fan base that's rapid on the map. It'd be just great for the league, right? I think they missed out significantly. It was a monumental mistake, in my opinion, for the Toronto Raptors not to be playing the San Antonio Spurs on Christmas Day. Personally, let me know in the comment section below, even not as a Raptors or a Spurs fan, would that just not be an exciting watch to see DeMar DeRozan return to Toronto and Kawhi Leonard play against Greg Popovich? I think that just would have been a completely exciting narrative, but that might be asking a lot from the NBA because, the Spurs, especially in the past, they have a much better track record as a franchise than the Toronto Raptors history. Maybe not the past couple years, but obviously the Spurs are a championship, first-class organization, and they sometimes get robbed from the NBA too. But, we're just looking at the Raptors side of things here. But even if we weren't playing the Spurs, Even if, we played some random team, if we had to play New York or something, people want to see how Kawhi Leonard's going to go. This is a storyline that the whole NBA world is watching. So it really makes, and it's making a lot of Raptors fans wonder, like, does the NBA have a vendetta against the Toronto Raptors? And personally, I don't think that's the case, but I do think this year, you can use the TSN excuse and whatnot for past seasons and the reason why we don't get that much national media attention and all that stuff. But this year, there's just no excuse for all that. The NBA cannot back. This would have been too good for the game of basketball to miss out on this exciting team, the Raptors going all out. And you'd think by now, as a Toronto Raptors fan, that we'd be used to not getting the Christmas Day games, but just from the business side of things, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm even more rotted about it this year. I really thought we were going to get one. And apparently, reports I think it was Josh Lewinberg, came out and he said that the Toronto Raptors front office, like management and ownership, they pushed very hard to get this Christmas Day game, and the NBA responded that it was all business related. And personally, I just have trouble buying that. With all the narratives going around surrounding the Toronto Raptors, and obviously we're going to have the top-notch brand of basketball, I really, really am shocked that we don't have a game this year. Like, how do you put small markets like Utah and Portland in over the Toronto Raptors? Not only are they small markets, but they don't have the star power, right? Past years they threw in the Pelicans, but they have Anthony Davis. But now if you look at Utah, their best player is Donovan Mitchell, and people that listen to the podcast consistently know I love the kid and I think he's going to be great, but he's not Anthony Davis. He doesn't have that image, especially not yet in his career. And Portland, right there, they got swept first round last season, right? I also love Damian Lillard, but none of those guys in the NBA spectrum and the NBA fandom come close to Kawhi Leonard's just status and ability to encapsulate an exciting game, an exciting watch for an NBA fan. And personally, I think that should be the goal of the Christmas Day games. You might lose some money hosting a Toronto Raptors game in such a primetime spot because of TSN and Sportsnet and stuff, but I think just the impact it would have on the game of basketball and how much excitement it would bring, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the pod, as an average NBA fan, cutting my Raptors biases off for a second, even though I don't tend to do that often, but I'm just not excited about many of the other games, right? I mentioned the Lakers and the Warriors. That's going to be good, but LeBron versus the Warriors, it's a staple. But you look at the other games, like the Rockets and the Thunder. Do you really think that the Carmelo Anthony return to Oklahoma City is a more exciting game to watch? Do you really, is that going to hype you up? That I feel like I've watched OKC and the Rockets, that generic game, happen every season, and it just doesn't excite me. Obviously Portland and Utah, that's a game that you get on January 20th. That's not a Christmas Day game, right? There's not even any stars in that game, so that one is just blasphemy. You're gonna have the New York Knicks in there. They play the Bucks, right? But if you're gonna have the Knicks play, right? Why are they playing the Bucks, right? The Bucks are gonna beat them handily. They don't even have Porzingis, so no, unless you're pulling in another scrub team, the Knicks are gonna get squashed. So does the NBA really think that Milwaukee's a better, product than the Toronto Raptors? Because if they do that, let me know in the comment section if you think that's reasonable, because I think that's absurd, especially how they've just been so inconsistent the last few years, and they really didn't do much this offseason. I guess Mike Budenholzer was a nice addition. And the Celtics Sixers, right? I guess they had a fine second round matchup, but the Celtics handily won. Neither team really did much this offseason. So I think the NBA just messed up. As an NBA fan, obviously I'm even more erotic because I'm a Toronto Raptors fan. I think they blew it not putting in a Spurs-Raptors game. But let me know what you guys think. Did I I'm not completely shook about it, but is it an overreaction? Should we even care about this? Or does the NBA, is there an Adam Silver conspiracy against the Toronto Raptors? Let me know what you guys think. You're the best for making it this far. Check out the Instagram, the Twitter, all that cool stuff. You're the best. Cheers.